That's the kind of attitude I want to hear.
Yep, that's it, right. They're coming under starters orders now for 13 laps of Red Bull MotoGP Rookies Cup action. Who's going to make the start? Is it Brian Uriarte on pole position for the first time? Rolling well. And Christian Daniel Jr. just to slot in behind Veda Pratama. There's the 51. Brian Uriarte has the advantage, but is he going to...
The pack there, Morelli's made a climb up from outside the top 10, seemingly to about 10th or 9th position. All cleanly through. Look at the number 11 of David Gonzalez there, in 4th position now. He's carrying through that good form from Aragon.
Yeah.
Quality. You owe, well, you owe him a couple of Red Bulls, unfortunately.
No, right.
I was going to say, we can't do beers, too young, but there we go. There we have it. Well, hopefully the rider's all up and okay. It was the number 40 of Gabriele Tessini and the 72 of David da Costa.
All there. Anyway, back to the leaders. There's the 51 of Brian Uriarte in 2nd place, being chased hard by Christian Daniel Jr., but Veda Pratama has the advantage as they drop down onto the start-finish straight. As they sweep right-handed and go up the hill, it's the number 11 of David Gonzalez in 3rd place.
There is Danish. 6th position for your City.
54 of Veda Pratama. There's the 7th of Benyat Fernandez. As I say, he came back off 3rd, having only qualified 13th. He's up into 7th place.
Quite a big group now, right back there. So that's Morelli up into 5th position now.
Yeah, and he can go well here. He's so frustrating because he has a great weekend and then a not such great weekend. He certainly is quick here. He was 3rd here.
Look at them all fan out, Peter. 5 riders, and it's Danish coming out on top into 1st.
He came from at least 7th place as he crossed the line there, back into 1st place.
And Uriarte.
Absolutely superb. And Morelli, a bit loose there on the brakes, but he's collected it all up for the sweeping right-hander.
And Peter, that's Ramadipa in 4th position then. Brilliant, brilliant stuff.
Absolutely superb. Yes, the 3rd number. Then Christian Daniel Jr. on the 70. There, as you say, back in 8th place. Oh, that's the 50. That was actually 50 of Carter Thompson we saw in picture. And the 7th, I think Benyat Fernandez went up the inside. Ramadipa. And fanning out again, 7 on one side of the track, the 95 of Marco Morelli on the other, but it is the 7 of Benyat Fernandez who has the slightest advantage. Who's going to be late on the brakes?
First at the first corner once again then. So Uriarte is as you were basically a lap ago, but with Ben Fernandez and Morelli up the top once again. Mitani's joined the fray as well now. The number 34 into 7th position. For him and Christian Daniel Jr. gone very wide there, but it is Thompson who's unfortunately come off at the final turn.
I think he got it slowed down before he ran out of room.
Oh, and Morelli's got a long lap penalty for irresponsible riding, apparently.
Okay, all right. Wow. Does he do it? I don't know. At the back there is the 13 of Hakim Danish. My goodness, that's close.
Yeah, Danish got pushed back a little bit into the first turn of that one as Uriarte sides across the front of Morelli that time around into
Hakim Danish, the points leader.
And then we've got Leo Ramersdorf and the number 5. Not seen much of him so far this weekend. He actually qualified down in 10th position, but now he finds himself inside the top 4.
And yet, you know, I think he had a really great run in Aragon. It's really
nearly touching the back wheel of Danish then as he goes across the front of him. He loves a tough move into that part of the course, doesn't he? Goodness gracious me. We've got serious confidence in the front end to be able to do that. Uriarte, though, just fiercely determined. He knows at this stage in the season, Peter, 6
abreast. 5, 6, 7 abreast. My goodness gracious me.
And it's the Japanese rider of Zen Mitani who looks as though he's going to have the inside line into turn 1, but no, it's Morelli who cuts across the front of him, and Pratama is the one out front. Goodness me. And they're all side.
Was on the green there, wasn't he? So he's going to watch that Veda if it looked suspiciously like he touched the green. And there is the number 95, the 17-year-old Argentine Marco Morelli, who has to do a long lap penalty.
we've not seen it. Have we seen it on our TV screens? We've got it on our timing screens, but you know,
what is it? The top 18 all
yeah,
bunched
now
up.
he's 17th again.
Yeah, so he's way back at the end of that group.
He can't have been so fast that he just... Did he punt Carter off? But I thought he was ahead of him at the time, but we'll have to find out after the race.
That's right.
And he's got a lot of work to do in 7 laps, though.
But
that's about...
has the advantage.
Oh, yes, he does. No, not for long, though, because it's actually Ckpnya Fernandez as Leo Ramsdorfer looks on his outside, doesn't want to take anyone out. That is a very nice lad.
Yeah, but he's got, in doing that, he's lost about 4 places.
Yeah.
You know, you are
The top 10 now. That's the best we've seen from him so far in his career.
You're on board with Hakim Danish on the 13 in 4th place at the moment as you go through the sweeping, climbing right-hander Arabiata 1 and 2, 180 kilometres an hour, 112 miles an hour. Expert, so maybe he's taken some advice. Anyway, the 7 of Ckpnya Fernandez, who has the advantage now. Brian Ariarte is up into 2nd place. That's the 16 of Joel Pons in the middle of the group there, and as you say, a much better ride than he's had all season so far.
There is Carter Thompson then, running in 18th position. Way as they come down to San Donato, the 32. Brilliant ride for the Indonesian as they are about 6 abreast into the first turn. This is Rookies Cup at its wildest.
Yeah, and I'm not going to say how brilliantly they're doing because that was a curse last time, but wow, look at this stuff. It is absolutely sensational, isn't it?
They are...
Has the advantage, but Brian Ariarte right on his tail. Then comes the 13 of Hakim Danish and the 7 of Ckpnya Fernandez.
Lucas Brown has unfortunately crashed out on this lap. He's seemingly okay according to the timing screens as well. The 29 was having a run up with Carter Thompson for 18th.
The 7 of Ckpnya Fernandez into 2nd place.
Out of this one as well, but up and walking away.
Yeah, but hopefully he'll be fit and okay to have another go tomorrow. Well, Veda Ega, as I say, the number 31 there.
From the back of the grid.
From the back of the grid, and here he is in 4th place.
Well then, still 12 minutes or so of racing to go, and it's still...
The Japanese. Oh, and now he's using everything, bits of paint, everything there. Out across the road, who is going to have the advantage? The 31 of Ega Pratama, the local hero, almost has the lead into the first corner, but in fact it isn't. It's Brian Ariarte.
Very good job.
And this isn't what Brian Ariarte wants to have, really, coming down towards the end of the race here. Because, you know, he's gone from 1st to 10th and back to 1st. He wants it to break it up if he possibly can. So he'll be putting in the laps as hard as possible now to see if he can get away from these guys.
Oh, time of 2:01.0. So, you know, last time around, Ramadipa putting in a 2:02.7. I think that's why we've got such a big group of riders, Peter. I mean, a lot of them thinking about, you know, the slipstream down the start and finish straight, and perhaps no one really wants to lead out of the final corner. They see that you can lead out of the final corner in 1st, end up 10th by turn 1.
Certainly not this weekend, what we've seen so far. Right. Coming down, there'll be just 4 laps remaining. There it is, the 51 of Brian Ariarte moves across there. You can't do too much swinging around like that. That's not allowed, but just moving across is fine. You're on board with Hakim Danish in 9th place, but picking up the slips in 3rd.
With Zen Mitani in 4th. That is in the background. That's Joel Pons, who got pushed out wide, unfortunately.
Yeah, but let's hope he can get back on the group. But, I mean, you were on board with Hakim Danish. You saw all the bunch around you, how tight it was. And still, he managed to outbrake everybody at the inside and take the lead.
And those are all the gravels. To Morelli starting to make a bit of a fight back.
It still is the number 13 of Hakim Danish, the points leader, who has the slightest advantage. But number 5 up the inside. Austria leads then. Leo Ramsdorfer, the 20-year-old Austrian, takes the advantage on the KTM. Austrian motorcycle, Austrian rider in front of rookies.
And now is he being pushed right back across? He's in 9th position now.
And Ariarte's gone back to 8th, as you say. You know, you lead the race across the line and then end up back in 8th place. But the number 5 of Leo Ramsdorfer looking super cool out front now. I can't believe that it might be Leo Ramsdorfer who split.
2:01, some of the late 2:01, some of the riders in this group, which means they've got a lot more speed in their pocket. Just no one really wants to lead coming out that final corner, do they?
No, it's the 7th of Ckpnya Fernandez, the 17-year-old Spaniard who now has the slightest advantage over Hakim Danish. There's the 51 I can see of Brian Riarte back there, time screens, the 9 of Luca Agostinelli, who's in 7th place. You don't hear us talk about him too often, but he's part of the mix at the moment, looking for a podium place.
Adopted Vietnamese rider living in Italy. What a story that Agostinelli has. He certainly carries himself like an Italian. Rather sensibly as Brian Riarte dives up the inside once again. Rally gets the switch back as they come into the Biondetti chicane right now. Ckpnya Fernandez with the lead ahead of Danish and Pratama. Zen Mitani is the best we've seen from him in Rookies Cup so far in his short career. Oh, really boxed in there. Now coming across the line about 8th or so position, but he's going to get a massive slingshot down towards turn 1. Look at them all go. They'll all fan out, but then who will end up in P1? Brian Riarte for now.
Brian Riarte. Now, Ckpnya Fernandez did lead out of the last corner and he led across.
Christian Daniel Jr. started 3rd position. He's in 4th right now. He's been relatively quiet, sort of just sneakily going about it, not getting into touch wood too much trouble thus far. Now finds himself back in the Premier position. He's certainly got some good speed about him. Maybe he was right. Maybe he's got something in hand coming on to the final laps.
Yeah,
now is the moment it starts to get really rather tense. This final lap in Mugello, it's going to be all about finding your position to go onto the onto the front straight out of the final corner, the run to the line. No major weaving. We don't want any repeats of what we had in previous years. But look at this now, Peter. This is where they're, you know, this is not ideal. They're not going to like this. They're not going to enjoy that at all. That's not what they want to see.
It is the 70 of Christian Daniel Jr. who leads the Rookies Cup race across the line onto the last lap here at Mugello, and alongside him is Zen Mitani, the Japanese, on the 34, and they fan out. It's about 6th abreast. Brian Riarte has it, I think, ahead of him as Agostinelli. Ramersdorfer's there as well, so Brian has got work to do on the last lap.
And they're starting to pull away, Peter. That lap last time around was a mid-2:02. That was rather slow, so they got some pace in hand. Who can break away?
And in 8th place is Hakim Danish, the points leader. He knows he doesn't have to win this race, but of course he's...
Pratama leading the way, eking out all the corner speed that he possibly can, as we now come over the top of the hill, the highest point of the circuit, and down they come once again then into this right and left-hander.
And Pugliese is in 2nd place. There is the number 11 of David Gonzalez in 3rd place.
He's just over to 8.
And Veda Pratama has the slightest advantage, but can he afford to be in front at this stage? Behind him is the 31 Pugliese, the Italian hero.
Right, this is the final corner time. What kind of run can you get onto the start and finish straight again? Peter, take it away. It's going to be Pratama leading them out of the way.
Something moved on the bike. The 31 of Pugliese is looking with slipstream. Veda Pratama has it though. No one's going to pass him surely before the finish. It's going to be Indonesia. It's Veda Pratama who has it.
Pratama wins then. What a ride that was. He was the one who played it the most sensible. He was the craftiest, and he has...
Veda Ega Pratama dan jalan sunyi menuju puncak dunia balap. Mentari musim panas Prancis menyinari sirkuit de Nevers Magnitures pagi itu. Di padek tim Astra Honda, seorang pemuda berdiri dengan mata tertuju pada trek yang belum pernah ia taklukkan. Bukan sekadar memandang, tapi mencoba meraba tiap tikungan dalam imajinasinya, seolah sedang menyusun teka-teki masa depan. Pemuda itu adalah Veda Ega Pratama, harapan baru bangsa Indonesia dalam dunia balap motor dunia. Hari itu, Veda bersiap menghadapi tantangan baru di putaran ketiga Junior GP World Championship 2025. Ini adalah trek yang asing baginya. Tidak seperti Mugello yang telah ia kuasai beberapa pekan lalu, Magnitures belum pernah ia jajaki sebelumnya. Tapi jika ada satu hal yang telah ia pelajari sejak kecil, adalah bahwa setiap tikungan yang tidak dikenal selalu menyimpan peluang besar bagi mereka yang berani. Veda bukan lagi remaja polos yang terkesima dengan dunia balap Eropa. Sejak kecil, ia telah terbiasa menggilas aspal dalam keheningan kampung halamannya di Gunung Kidul, Yogyakarta. Kini, dengan bendera merah putih di dadanya, ia bersaing di panggung yang mempertemukan para calon bintang MotoGP dunia. Di usianya yang baru 16 tahun, ia sudah membawa mimpi banyak orang Indonesia yang merindukan kehadiran pembalap tanah air di level tertinggi. 2 pekan lalu, di Mugello, nama Veda menggema keras. Ia bukan hanya menang, tetapi menyapu bersih dua balapan Red Bull Rookies Cup dengan penuh gaya dan keberanian. Ia menyalip dari luar tikungan, bertahan dari tekanan hingga garis finish, dan berdiri di podium tertinggi dengan senyum lebar, senyum yang menandai sejarah baru balap motor Indonesia. Kemenangan itu tak datang begitu saja. Sebulan sebelumnya, di Estoril, Veda terjatuh dan mengalami cedera pergelangan kaki. Banyak yang menduga ia akan absen lama. Tapi ia bangkit lebih cepat dari yang diperkirakan, menahan sakit demi satu hal, membuktikan bahwa darah juara mengalir dalam dirinya. Dan Mugello menjadi saksi akan tekad itu. Tambahan 50 poin dari 2 kemenangan membuatnya melesat ke posisi ketiga klasemen Red Bull Rookies Cup, hanya di bawah pembalap senior seperti Hakim Danish dan Brian Uriarte. Tapi bagi Veda, posisi hanyalah angka. Yang lebih penting adalah kepercayaan diri yang tumbuh bersama kemenangan itu. Kini, di Magny-Cours, Veda menghadapi tantangan berbeda. Di ajang junior GP ini, ia belum mencetak poin pun. Di Jerez, ia finish ke-21. Di Estoril, ia bahkan tidak menyelesaikan balapan. Ajang ini lebih keras, lebih teknis, dan lebih kompetitif. Tapi justru disitulah naluri pembalapnya diuji. Saya tahu ini bukan trek yang mudah. Tapi saya tidak datang untuk sekadar menyelesaikan balapan. Saya datang untuk bertarung, ujar Veda kepada media lokal. Dalam keheningan sirkuit pagi itu, ia menjalani track walk bersama tim, mempelajari detail demi detail lintasan. Setiap tikungan ia amati, setiap jalur pengereman ia simulasikan dalam kepalanya. Baginya, balapan bukan hanya tentang kecepatan, tetapi tentang memahami sirkuit seperti membaca isi hati lawan. Tak hanya soal lintasan, tekanan publik juga mulai mengarah padanya. Sejak Mugello, namanya menghiasi media nasional dan media sosial. Tagar Veda Ega Pratama trending. Bonus mengalir. Pujian membanjir. Tapi di tengah semua itu, Veda memilih diam dan bekerja. Karena ia tahu, pujian bisa memabukkan seperti kemenangan yang terlalu dini. Sementara itu, jadwalnya makin padat. Usai Magny-Cours, ia akan langsung bertolak ke Sachsenring, Jerman, untuk melanjutkan pertarungan di Red Bull Rookies Cup, serangkaian balapan yang akan menentukan apakah ia bisa mengakhiri musim ini di podium klasemen akhir. Setelah Jerman, Spanyol kembali menantinya di Aragon untuk putaran junior GP berikutnya. Bagi sebagian orang, jadwal itu mungkin melelahkan. Tapi bagi Veda, inilah jalan yang harus dilalui oleh mereka yang ingin mengukir sejarah. Di pitlane Magny-Cours, suara mesin mulai meraung. Tapi di antara deru itu, langkah Veda tetap tenang. Ia menaiki motornya, memejamkan mata sejenak, dan menarik napas dalam. Di balik visor helmnya, tak ada rasa takut, yang ada hanya tekad seorang anak bangsa untuk membawa nama Indonesia lebih tinggi, lebih cepat, dan lebih jauh dari sebelumnya.